In this video, we will see the final letters of the Hebrew alphabet. These letters are
Shin, Sin,
and
Tav.
let's go. I hope you still remember Aleph, Bet, Vet, Gimel, Dalet, and Hey. And also
Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Kaf Sofit, Chaf, Chaf Sofit,
Lamed, Mem, Mem Zafit, Nun, and Nun Zafit.
Samech, Ayin, Pe, Fe, Fe Sofit, Tzadi, Tzadi Sofit, Kuf,
And
Resh.
now, we've arrived at the final letters of the Hebrew alphabet. These letters are
Shin, Sin,
and
Tav.
regarding vowels, we'll see nicked signs for all the vowel sounds. Note that the nicked signs for the vowel A always have a little flat line. And the nicked signs for the vowel A always have a minimum of 2 little dots below a letter, so remember E for egg, and it really looks like eggs being laid below. Now, the vowel E is like the dot below an exclamation point, so remember it like the exclamation of a shriek during an injection. And the nicked sign for the vowel O is always a dot on top of a letter. And finally, the sound of the vowel U is indicated by a dot on the left side of the letter, or by 3 diagonal dots below. We'll see different nicked vowel signs in a while. Now, let's get to know these final letters.
Shin,
Shin has the sh sound of shoe, show, shy, or sheep. Shin has a dot on the top right side.
Sin,
Has the sound of s, and has a dot on the top left side. Do you remember another letter that has the s sound? It's this letter.
Samech,
And the letter Tav has the sound of T. Now, do you remember another letter that has a T sound? It's the letter Tet. It's interesting to note that we need to arrive at these final letters at the end of the Hebrew alphabet in order to be able to form words that speak of light, joy, rest, completion, and holy festivals. You'll see that in a while. Let's begin by looking at this word which has 2 letter sheens.
Shemesh, Shemesh,
It's the Hebrew word for sun. As you can see, it is written with these letters.
Shin, Mem, Shin,
The word shemesh has 2 nicked signs. One under the first letter sheen, and one under the letter mem. This nicked sign is called
Segol,
It tells us to pronounce a short E sound, as in the E of egg. So we say,
Shemesh, Shemesh,
now, let's look at a very important word in Hebrew.
Shabbat, Shabbat,
It is the 7th day of the week, popularly called Saturday in the English language. It is the day of rest, described in the Bible as the 7th day. It is the day when the Lord God Almighty rested after all his work of creation. This word is synonymous with the day of rest, when no work is done. It's interesting to note that we can only form this word when we arrive at the very end of the Hebrew alphabet. As you can see, we need a letter Shin and a letter Tav in order to write the word Shabbat. Indeed, rest can come when we have completed all letters. The word Shabbat has two nikud vowel signs. Under the letter Shin is the nikud sign for pronouncing a short da sound. This nikud sign is called
פתח,
and under the letter Bet is the nikud sign for pronouncing a long ah sound. This nikud sign is called.
קמץ,
So we say,
שבת, שבת,
now, let's see a very frequently used and important word in Hebrew.
שלום, שלום,
Shalom means peace, and everything that comes with an overall sense of well-being. Shalom is also used to say hello, and it is also used to say goodbye.
שלום,
This is another important word that starts with the letter Shin. The word Shalom has two nikud vowel signs. Under the letter Shin is the nikud sign for pronouncing a long ah sound. This nikud sign is called a kamatz. And on top of the letter Vev is the nikud sign for pronouncing an O sound. This nikud sign is called.
חולה מלא,
So, we have a sha, an L sound, an O sound, and an M sound. So we say,
שלום, שלום,
now you can say a Sabbath day greeting by using the two words we just saw.
שבת שלום, שבת שלום,
This is the greeting to wish someone a good, peaceful, and restful Sabbath day.
שבת שלום,
Now let's see another example of an important greeting that contains the letter Shin.
שנה טובה, שנה טובה,
This is the way we say have a good year during the festival of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. Can you identify the nikud signs in this phrase? As you can see, there's a kamatz, the nikud sign for pronouncing a long ah sound. We can find a kamatz under the letter Shin, the letter Nun, and the letter Vet. And on top of the letter Vev is the nikud sign for pronouncing an O sound. This nikud sign is called.
חולה מלא,
So, we have these sounds, sha, na, to, va.
שנה טובה,
Now let's see another way of wishing a good year during the Jewish New Year.
שנה טובה ומתוקה, שנה טובה ומתוקה,
This literally means have a good and sweet year. As part of tradition, honey, apples and pomegranates are the festival foods during the Jewish New Year, which falls during the autumn season. Such sweet food carry the message of wishing that the new year will be sweet and pleasant. This phrase contains 4 types of nikud vowel signs. A kamatz, for a long ah sound. We have a
שווה,
for a short e sound, as in the e, of egg. A holam mala for an o sound. And we have a
שורוק,
for the sound of u, as in igloo. So we pronounce this as
שנה טובה ומתוקה, שנה טובה ומתוקה,
Now it's time to see the letter Sin. Sin has the S sound. It has a dot on the top left side.
סין, סין,
Here's a word that starts with the letter Sin.
שמח, שמח,
This is the Hebrew word for happy. It is written with these letters.
סין, מם, חט, שמח, שמח, שמח,
Has two types of nickel vowel signs. We have the nickel vowel sign called.
פתח,
This tells us to pronounce a short ah sound. We see this under two letters.
סין,
And
חט,
the other nickel vowel sign is a.
צירה,
This tells us to pronounce a long E sound, like the E, in the word red. So we say,
שמח, שמח,
here we have another important greeting in Hebrew. And it uses the word.
שמח, חג שמח, חג שמח,
It means happy festival, happy feast, or happy holiday. The word
חג,
means festival, feast, or holiday. And as you now know, the Hebrew word for happy is.
שמח,
So during the different holy festivals, this is how we wish people a happy feast.
חג שמח, חג שמח,
Has two types of nickel vowel signs. We have the nickel vowel sign called.
פתח,
This tells us to pronounce a short ah sound. We see this under these letters.
חט,
And seen. The other nickel vowel sign is a.
צירה,
This tells us to pronounce a long E sound, like the E, in the word red. We see this under the letter mem. So we say,
חג שמח, חג שמח,
wow, now you know all the letters.
א',
Bet, vet, gimel, dalet, and hey.
ו', זין, ח', ט', י', כ', כ' סופית, כ', כ' סופית,
Lamed, mem, memzafit, noon, and noonsafit.
שמח, עין, פה, פה, פה סופית, צדי, צדי סופית, קוף, רש,
And now, you also know.
שין, סין,
And,
תו.
well done. And remember, in Hebrew, some letters are written differently when they are found at the end of a word. The end form of such letters are called.
סופית,
In previous videos, we've already seen.
כ' סופית, כ' סופית, מ' סופית, נ' סופית, פה סופית,
And,
צדי סופית.
and by this time, you have already seen many examples of nickel vowel signs. Note that the nickel signs for the vowel A always have a little flat line. And the nickel signs for the vowel A always have a minimum of 2 little dots below a letter, so remember E for egg, and it really looks like eggs being laid below. Now, the vowel E is like the dot below an exclamation point, so remember it like the exclamation of a shriek during an injection. And the nickel sign for the vowel O is always a dot on top of a letter. And finally, the sound of the vowel U is indicated by a dot on the left side of the letter, or by 3 diagonal dots below. As you have seen, it is only by arriving at the final letters of the Hebrew alphabet that we can form these very important words.
שמש, שבת, שלום, שמח,
And you can now say these important greetings in Hebrew.
שבת שלום, שנה טובה, חג שמח.
Congratulations, you now know all the letters of the Hebrew alphabet, from Aleph, all the way to Shin, Sin, and Tav. You are now ready to learn more words and go farther in your studies of the Hebrew language, the language of the Bible.
מזל טוב.